Town Hall tonight. The conversation is going to be speaking to you live in just a minute. But I wanted to let you know that there are votes going to be called this evening, so unfortunately we will not have a full hour. We will be have a whole hour with the Congresswoman. We will go as long as we can until those votes are called, and so we will let you know when that is. We'll do everything we can to get your questions answered tonight. But if we don't get your questions answered tonight, please make sure you visit our website, axne.house.gov, and submit a message to the Congresswoman there. And so, without further ado, I want to turn it over to Congresswoman Axne.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. I very much appreciate you taking the time. As you know, I hold a lot of Connect with Your Congresswoman events back in Iowa. I hope you can make it out to one of those sometime, where we can actually talk in person. But tonight I'm wrapping up some work here in D.C., so I'm holding this tele town hall for all of us. As Denise just mentioned, unfortunately, I won't get to spend the whole hour with you as planned because I'll be voting on articles of impeachment this evening. For those of you who have not seen my statement, I will be voting for impeachment. I came to Congress to work for middle-class Iowans, to get people better health care and better paying jobs, and to make sure that government was held more accountable. When I took the oath of office, I also swore before God to support and protect the Constitution. After carefully reviewing the evidence presented from the House Judiciary and Intelligence Committees, and speaking with Iowans across our Great Third District, it's clear the President abused his power by withholding almost $400 million in taxpayer money for his own personal political gain, and also obstructed Congress by ordering his administration to refuse to testify or provide subpoenaed documents. And that is why I'm voting for impeachment. But no matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, or Independent, all Americans deserve responsible and ethical elected officials. So let me move on. It's been almost 1 year since I've been your representative here in Congress, and I'm very proud to have been given that opportunity and that trust, and I thank you all for that. In that time, a heck of a lot has happened. We started this year in a government shutdown. My first days, I should say weeks, in office were spent speaking with farmers, businesses, air traffic controllers, members of military, Iowa families, and many others who were missing paychecks. Those who were unable to get the services they needed, and those who were hurt by the shutdown. I even withheld my own pay until we got things up and running. Since then, I've introduced 15 pieces of legislation since January. I've co-sponsored over 300 bills, 85% of which are bipartisan. Those bills lower the cost of health care, put money back in Iowans' pockets, and reduce government waste while cutting red tape. I've introduced legislation to help stop surprise medical bills by making sure insurance companies update their information so we don't get hit with those. I've introduced an ethics reform package to clean up Washington and put a lifetime ban on members of Congress from becoming lobbyists. And I'll tell you what, folks, they're in here in the halls every day of the week, and I think that we need to make this happen. I've introduced legislation to help our rural healthcare clinics who would suffer from overregulation that would put them out of business, and I'm dogged in making sure that we keep rural healthcare at a rate that helps the people in our communities. I will stand by that every step of the way. And I'm working hard to help communities impacted by the floods by getting the funding they need, make sure my bill to help Iowa workers impacted by outsourcing passed the House. I met with parents in Iowa whose children were injured or died while in child care and introduced legislation to help ensure that our child care facilities are safe. So we've been working on a lot. And although December isn't over yet, we've done a lot already this month. Just recently, I voted to pass H.R. 3, which is the Lower Drug Cost Now Act, which will save our seniors, and by the way, people across this country, not just our older Americans, but our seniors, hundreds to thousands of dollars on prescription drugs, and pass those savings on to everyone else. Also, the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement is done. We will be voting on that tomorrow. So I'm elated to move that agenda forward to create some certainty in the market for our agriculture community. It's going to be a much better bill. It protects workers, it helps our farmers, and it does help the environment. We're expecting the bill to pass with bipartisan support. And I can tell you I'm deeply disappointed to hear that the Senate doesn't want to take it up this year, even after we've worked this hard to make it a very good bill that not only the president likes, but agriculture, manufacturing, and labor is all in agreement on. I was also named the most accessible freshman member of Congress now twice because I've held over 50 town halls in Iowa this past year. And then yesterday, I voted to pass funding bills that would fund our government through September of 2020, giving much-needed funding to our healthcare programs, our police, rural communities, and education programs, and more investment in important cancer and rare disease research, a pay increase for our military, and more funding for those impacted by disaster, and a lot more. And I want to tell you that we worked hard to make sure that we could pass those bills because the last thing we wanted to do was shut down government again, and we made sure that that didn't happen. I know we're short on time tonight, so I want to jump right into your questions, and I thank you so much for being here on this call. If you do have a question for me tonight, press *3. To finalize, folks, there's a heck of a lot more work that needs to be done next year, so I'm excited to hear from you about what you want to see done, and I thank you for everything that you do for our communities in Iowa. We're ready to take our calls.
Our first caller tonight, Rebecca from Urbandale, has a question about impeachment. Rebecca, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
Okay, as all of us here in Iowa learned in middle school, the Constitution says that the president can only be impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors. Can you tell us what the president has done that you think qualifies as a high crime or misdemeanor?
I appreciate that question. Thank you. Yes, there are 2 articles of impeachment that we'll be voting on here very soon. The first is the president abused his power, and the second is that he obstructed Congress, both high crimes and misdemeanors. The president wanted to withhold military aid to Ukraine until he could get information about the 2016 election and about Joe Biden. It's a crime to use taxpayer dollars for your own political purposes. And I've heard arguments that Ukraine did eventually get that money, but it was the president's intent to withhold it. Intent to commit a crime is a crime, and that's why I'm voting for the first article of impeachment. The second article deals with obstruction of Congress. And the president did not provide documents to Congress that we requested. He told members of his cabinet, like the Attorney General, to not testify before Congress, even though he was subpoenaed. I'm bothered by this because the House is the people's house. I'm here to serve all of you. And I believe that when Congress and the people ask for documents and want to speak with public officials, but they're denied, that's an obstruction of Congress. So no matter your political party, no matter who the president is, and I truly mean this in every aspect of the work that I do. I don't care what letter is behind your name, if it's an R, a D, or an I, I'm here to work for all of you. But just like that, no matter who is sitting in the Oval Office, we cannot set a precedent that the people's house doesn't matter. And so those 2 pieces meet high crimes and misdemeanors with obstruction of justice and abuse of powers, and therefore that's why I'm taking my vote to impeach the president this evening.
And thank you, Rebecca, for that question. Next up, we are going to go to Thaddeus, who says he's frustrated with impeachment and has concerns about his health care. Thaddeus, are you there?
I am. Thank you, Congresswoman, for taking my call. All of this impeachment talk is really frustrating for those of us who spend most nights worrying about how we're going to keep affording the medication that our children or aging parents are going to need. The prices just keep climbing. Is Congress going to get it back together and do something with this?
Well, thank you for that question. Appreciate that. We've actually worked on multiple bills to address healthcare issues, and personally, I've written and co-sponsored multiple bills dealing with a lot of rural healthcare issues. But just this last week, speaking about your out-of-pocket costs on the House passed H.R. 3, the Lower Drug Cost Now bill, which the Congressional Budget Office has estimated will save somewhere between $350 billion and $500 billion over a 7 to 10 year period. So this is massive savings across the country. This bill would allow Medicare to negotiate 250 of the most expensive drugs every year, including insulin. And insulin would have to be negotiated within the first year because we've seen that escalate. Folks who are on diabetes insulin have seen just massive increases in how much they have to pay. So that's going to be one of the first that we get at. It also creates an out-of-pocket cap for our seniors who are on Medicare, $2,000 maximum. Right now, we've got folks who are sometimes paying $10,000 and $15,000 out of pocket. I'd certainly like to see it even go lower, but I think this is a huge step in the right direction to give our seniors some certainty into how much their prescriptions are going to cost them. It also limits the maximum prices drug companies can charge. We will no longer be gouged here in America while countries all around the world that purchase our drugs do so at a much cheaper rate. So this will ensure that no American pays more than 20% more than the cost of a drug in a comparable country. So it's going to give us an opportunity to lower that as well. Now, folks, here's the best part of this in my estimation. Not only are we going to save you money, but because we're able to do this and because a bipartisan Congressional Budget Office said this will save us billions of dollars, we're going to put that back into helping you. We're going to give seniors access to dental, hearing, and vision care within Medicare. So I'm so excited about this bill. And Thaddeus, I might also point out I was able to get an amendment into the bill to reduce the paperwork burdens on doctors and nurses, which is estimated to save us billions of dollars. And on top of that, what I really want is your doctor to be spending time with you or your children or your family and not sitting there on the computer, and less time that you've got to sit in a waiting room with a crying child while they're sick filling out paperwork. This will help us do that. This will help us save billions in dollars, and I'm thrilled that my amendment was passed. And thank you for your question. We are absolutely trying to lower the cost of prescription drugs and healthcare for every Iowan.
Next, we are going to go to Alice, who lives in Sydney and has a question about her farm that was flooded. Alice, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Congresswoman Axne, for taking my question. I know that Congress approved money earlier this year to rebuild from the massive flooding we experienced earlier this year, but I haven't heard anything since. Can you tell me what's going on with that?
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for that question, and I thank you for everything that all of you are doing in our flooded areas to make sure that you're helping your fellow community members. I've never seen. I know Iowans are great to step up when they need to, but I'll tell you what, I've been so humbled to see the effort that folks in the farthest southwest corner of our district have been doing to make sure that their neighbors could get by. So just like you, I'm frustrated with the inability to get the money out to the folks in as timely a manner as I would like. We have started up a tracker on our website. So if you go to my official website, U.S. Representative Cindy Axne, search for that, you'll find my website. We've got a tracker system there. We're tracking how much money is coming out of HUD, how much money is coming out of FEMA, how much money out of USDA, and we're going to make, and the Small Business Administration, to ensure that every dollar, the $3 billion that I was able to get into the disaster relief bill, specifically focused on Midwest floods, gets spent in Iowa, Nebraska, and Missouri. So we set up this tracking mechanism to ensure that that money is going there. I also am working on a bill with Senator Ernst, and I'm really excited about this. This is going to allow us to keep those temporary levies and make them permanent, like the one we had in Hamburg that we were forced to remove, which put the town in jeopardy. This is a law that will eliminate that ridiculous red tape that literally put our community in harm's way because of bureaucracy within government. So I'm working my way through addressing every opportunity to fix this problem, not just to make sure that we've got the money in people's hands, but that we also fix this moving forward. I was quite honestly shocked when I found out that there's no standard structure out here in government for disasters. So you know what? We're going to fix that. I'm going to make sure that the people in our district get the resources that we need, but I'm also going to make sure that across the country we fix the problem of making it so difficult for people to get the money in their hands as quickly as they need it. That's a problem we need to address, and I'm going to be looking at that as well. But in the meantime, check out our tracking system. We're going to keep, we want to know where the money is. We're going to stay hard on these departments and make sure that they continue to update us with information, and we're going to get every dime of it out to the people in the district.
Our next question goes to Madeline. Madeline called in asking what the Congress is going to do to combat increasing drug prices. Madeline, are you there? Madeline, are you there? Looks like she's not. So we're going to go ahead and move on to William. William has a question about ethanol levels and the Congressman's work on E15. William, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, William, go ahead.
Well, just wanted to get an update on where we stand with the EPA rules and regulations that would increase the percentage of ethanol that goes into gasoline, and if that's going to be happening on a year-round basis now.
Well, William, thank you so much for that. Listen, I'm so dedicated to making sure that we get back every gallon of our 15 billion gallons that unfortunately the EPA has decided aren't important for this country. It's more important, I guess, in their books to make sure that rich shareholders and fossil fuel companies get more money in their pocket. So I've been nothing but dogged in making sure that we make 15 billion gallons, 15 billion gallons. My latest attempt, I have written multiple letters to the EPA. We are working with the folks within the administration and on the Democratic House side to try and push this agenda forward. We're not getting the answers that we would like to see out of the EPA, which is why I opened up an investigation into their issuance of these waivers, specifically asking for who got the waivers, how much the waiver was for, did they get those waivers in the past, et cetera, to make them literally give us on paper exactly what they've been doing. I'm not happy with the continued responses that we are getting from them or from this administration in their negotiation, supposedly, with the EPA. This is not a negotiation in my book. The law is 15 billion gallons. Let's get it back to 15 billion gallons. That's what I'm going to continue to push for, and I will do everything I possibly can to move that agenda forward. And I appreciate your patience in helping us work with this administration to put an end to this. I did want to also let you know that I was able to get biodiesel tax extenders into our end-of-year tax extender package, which we'll be voting on tomorrow, and second-generation biofuels as well. So we're going to be able to give some relief to those industries so that they can figure out better ways to invest their capital and continue to grow, even as we're experiencing this downturn from the administration. So trying to do everything I can to move the agenda forward to get back to those 15 billion gallons, and at the same time helping that industry stay afloat by making sure that the taxes that they're paying are working for them so that they can continue to employ people.
If you have a question for the Congresswoman tonight, please press *3 to ask your question. And then additionally, tonight, Congresswoman, we are getting a lot of questions about impeachment. We don't have time to answer all of them, but I have also wondering if you could restate what you're going to do on the impeachment vote tonight.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for those of you who have just joined. At the beginning of the hour, I discussed that I would be taking a vote on impeachment very quickly now. It should be coming up. My apologies if we have to get off the phone. There will be two articles of impeachment that we're voting on. The first is the president abused his power, and the second is that he obstructed Congress. I will be voting for the impeachment. The president wanted to withhold military aid to Ukraine until he could get information about the 2016 election and about Joe Biden. Unfortunately, he used taxpayer dollars that were authorized by Congress to make this request. And it's a crime to use taxpayer dollars for your own political purposes. I've heard arguments like Ukraine did eventually get that money, but that doesn't matter. It was the president's intent to withhold it so that they could perform a personal favor for him for his reelection. Intent to commit a crime is a crime, and that's why I'm voting for the first article of impeachment. The second article deals with obstruction of Congress. The president did not provide documents that Congress requested throughout the hearings. He told members of his cabinet, like the Attorney General, not to testify before Congress, even though he'd been subpoenaed. This is very disturbing on a lot of levels. I'm bothered by this because the House is truly the people's house. And I believe that when Congress and when the people ask for documents and want to speak with public officials but are denied, that's obstruction of Congress. I've said this all along, folks. I don't really care what letter's behind your name. If you're a Democrat, Republican, or an independent, DRI, or Libertarian. I'm here to work for you. But I also mean that when it comes to who's sitting in the Oval Office. Whoever is there should be looking out for the best interests of our country. So no matter your political party, no matter who the president is, we cannot set a precedent that the people's house doesn't matter and that the president is above the law. And that's why I will be voting for the articles of impeachment.
Next, we're going to move to a question from Michael. Michael has a question regarding opioids and what Congress can do to help those who have an opioid addiction. Michael, are you there?
Yes, actually, Cindy, my name is Mike Bill. I'm from Urbandale. My wife has chronic medical conditions where she needs to take opioid medication. Doctor has put her on a protocol for testing and other things and has proven that she's not addicted. However, because of the opioid crisis, all physicians are given a mandate to take these patients off medication and get them down to alternate therapies, even though opioid medication might be the therapy for them. By doing this, you're affecting their quality of life and, to me, violating their civil rights with life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And even it goes into disabilities and the ADA. So what can Congress do for people that truly do need these medications and continue to have the quality of life?
Mike, that's a great question, and I really appreciate that. And I'm sorry to hear about your wife, and I'll certainly be saying a prayer for her. I appreciate what you're saying. This is some of the battles that we fight here in government is unintended consequences of decisions that are made. Obviously, there's a big opioid epidemic problem in this country that we do need to address. But for folks like your wife who could benefit from it, we should be able to allow that as a drug that she should be able to use. I wasn't aware that this is something that wasn't being offered. I hear a lot about doctors who are continually asking about pain and then automatically prescribing opioids. So I hear a lot more from that perspective. But I will take what you've said. I'd like to see if I can talk to some folks about that, and we can get back to you. Do we have Mike's information where we might be able to get back to him, or can we have him? Okay, Mike, could you call our office, please? Oh, okay. Apparently, Mike is no longer on the line. So we're going to take our next question.
Next, we're going to go to Marilyn from Ankeny. Marilyn, I didn't know if you had said that your son has a spinal disease. Would you like to go ahead and ask the congressman your question?
But I what?
I didn't know if you had said that your son has a spinal disease. Would you like to ask your question to the congresswoman?
Yes, he has an incurable spinal disease. And he's had 16 surgeries, and he needs another one, and they've taken his insurance away.
You said your insurance is being taken away? His insurance is being taken away?
Yes.
let me, the best thing that I can do to see if we can help you with that is have our district team reach out. I don't understand why that would be happening. That seems unacceptable given the fact that the Affordable Care Act should, be covering anybody who has a pre-existing condition, and that's why it's so important that we maintain it. And so let me give you the number of our Des Moines office to call, and we will let them know, and I think they're listening on the phone right now anyhow, that you will be giving them a call to see what we can do to help you out. The phone number, if you have something to write this down with,
Yes, I do.
is 515-400-8180.
And that's an office at the indirect.
So that's our Des Moines office. You said your son's insurance is being taken away. Who is the carrier, out of curiosity, or can you give us any more information?
I don't know, but he's had 16 surgeries, and he always sees the same surgeon, and for some reason, they're not letting the surgeon have that insurance, so my son can't have the surgery. And like I say, it's incurable. And he was too young and didn't have enough quarters in to get Social Security, so he's on some kind of a program. They allow him so much for food and rent, and he had this insurance that helped him with his doctor. And now all of a sudden he can't have it.
Well, listen, I'm going to have, please call that number. We're going to let the team know that Marilyn will be reaching out, Marilyn, correct?
Yes.
To them. So this is making me think that for some reason they know that the insurance carrier no longer works with that particular doctor or provider, which it could be an issue. Let's see what we can do to help you work through that. That should be unacceptable, and let's see what we can do. And I'm sorry to hear about your son. We're going to try and do everything we can to help make this right. And thank you for being a good mom to him and calling in about his issues. We very much appreciate it.
I just want to chime in. So if you have a question for the Congresswoman, please press *3. We also want to mention that the Congresswoman's time is pretty limited, and we are expecting her to have to go vote shortly. So we'll do our best to get to all of your questions. So if you have one, please press *3. The next person we're going to speak with, her name is Deborah, and she's having trouble getting an appointment at the VA. So I just want to see, Deborah, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead, Deborah.
Hi, Cindy. I'm a 6-year Army veteran, and it's taking me 5 months to get appointments at the VA. The people that work there are terrific. There's not enough physicians. I don't know if they don't pay these doctors enough. I also have a bipolar issue, and I haven't seen a therapist in 5 months, and now they're making me an appointment for May, and that's just a placeholder, because so far they still haven't hired a therapist for the VA. And I know there's tons of people waiting for those appointments. And today I was supposed to have an MRI, and the machine was broke. So that didn't happen either. And just to reiterate on the one other gentleman's call about not being able to get pain medicine for his wife, I have been trying to get pain medicine. I've had 3 discs removed from my neck, and I'm going to go through the whole complicated story right now. But anyway, so I've asked for pain medicine, and they keep saying no. So then I've seen 2 acupuncturist, 2 physical therapists, the regular doctor, the pain pharmacist. I have an appointment with the pain committee, and still I've had pain for over a year. Same thing they say. They show you these little faces on the wall, and it says, "Wow, if you feel really bad, point to the sad face." I've been pointing to the sad face for a year, and I can't get any medicine. And I've been hospitalized already twice this year. I finally asked the girl, "Who can give you a prescription?" I guess that's a secret too, because I don't know who it is.
Deborah, thank you so much. I'm very familiar with those pain faces, so you made me laugh a little bit when you pointed at that darn face the whole year. Yeah. Thanks for a little bit of humor there. Listen, let me, again, we're going to see what we can do to help you out through our Des Moines office. We deal with a lot of veterans issues. We work very closely with the Veterans Administration Hospital there. We have a veteran on our team who has actually worked there as well. So we have somebody who can really try and make this happen for you. So I'm going to try and get you connected with John, who works our constituency services that has this background. We work very tightly with them, and let's see what we can do to get you in there more quickly. Can I give you, again, that Des Moines phone number, and we will let them know that you will be calling them tomorrow or within the next few days, and we'll also let the team know that you're calling as well.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready for the phone number.
I am ready.
Okay. 515 400 8180. Yeah. So 515.
I called and left a message for John, and he never called me back.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you for letting me know. We will, make sure that we help you with this, okay?
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We have time for at least one more question, and so we're going to move to Cynthia, who's from Crescent, with a question for the Congressman about green energy. Cynthia, are you there?
I am.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Cindy, I'm hoping that you're doing something to help us pay for green energy products and to help us replace fossil fuels in our lives with green products.
Well, I absolutely am. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the co-sponsors on our Green Bank bill. So essentially what we're doing is to establish a nationwide banking system that literally supports projects and organizations and businesses that are addressing environmental impact and climate change.
Wow.
So I'm thrilled to be a part of that early on. For us to be able to have the success we need, we're going to need to invest in innovative companies. Listen, I'm out here pushing every agenda for Iowa. I just talked to the chair of Energy and Commerce as they work through a massive climate bill and told him about all the opportunities that we have in Iowa to be leaders when it comes to renewable energy. Everything from the ability to sequester our carbon and receive support for that to certainly converting energy from methane or manure. We've got the resources, we've got the land, and we certainly have the desire to make sure that we move towards a cleaner, more sustainable environment. And, of course, I'd like to see Iowa come out economically strong as a result of that. So we're getting this bank up and running. We're working on multiple environmental bills, including this big one on climate that I'm hoping that will really have a positive, very, very positive economic impact for Iowa as we move forward to introduce that and then put that in place, over the next several years. So we're going to start with that. that bank so we can fund clean energy construction. I really am glad to hear somebody who's interested in that. It supports up to $1 trillion of investment in renewable energy and energy efficiency projects, and it's going to be a great kickstart to moving us in the right direction.
And so it looks like we have time for one more question. And so I have Connie from Des Moines with a question about mental health and teachers. Connie, are you there?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Cindy.
Hi, Connie.
I'm a former teacher, and I helped to train teachers on how to teach reading a long time ago. And I'm concerned that we are acting like we are in the reading business when in fact we are in the learn how to think and how to communicate, and we are not teaching speaking skills. Believe it or not, we are testing for reading, math, and science. And that's it for the last 30 years. And because reading is so overemphasized, we are not we're not training teachers on how to teach, how to communicate, how to think, and how to communicate. So what can we do? They need to be taught also in psychology and concepts of psychiatry so that they can help the kids who are being put in isolation rooms that are 8 by 8 because they're very out of control. And so a lot of kids also are wanting to commit suicide, and they are, a lot of kids are wanting age 10 to age 27. The people that are in schools are the ones that have a lot of emotional problems. But you know what? If we could teach them train teachers to be kind, to be kind, to be kind. And I know we're not even allowed to have kids anymore, and I know teachers, I am telling you, we're not going to have enough teachers because the kids are kicking them, they're stabbing them, they're punching them, and if we don't do something about the violence of children in society, please, what are you going to do? What can you do about training teachers in psychology, concepts of psychiatry, and how to be more kind to our students and keep those isolation rooms out of it? Maybe what we should do is we should have a psychiatrist in every school district so that a child that is having trouble should be put in a room. They could even yell. See, they don't allow you to yell, and sometimes if they can they hold everything in. They're expected to hold everything in. And if you cannot express your anger, you're going to hit somebody. So those are the things we need to do, and I'd really like for you to call me because I have been doing research for a long time, and I've put several calls to your office about education.
That sounds, Connie, I very much appreciate that, and I would like to do some follow-up with you. I couldn't agree with you more. As a matter of fact, I was just up in one of our schools in Ankeny recently, and I sat down and talked with a group of teachers, and the mental health issues that they are dealing with our children are overwhelming. Quite honestly, are causing mental health anguish for our teachers. We've got a lot of problems to address here. I'm a mom of 2 teenage boys, 15 and 17. I know it's a lot more difficult for our kids today, and so I thank you for bringing this up, and I thank you for your years of service for our teachers. We got a lot of things to address here. First and foremost, we've got to make sure that our schools have the resources they need, just as you mentioned. We need our teachers to be there building the next leaders of tomorrow, giving them the skills that they need to participate in today's economy, showing them how to be flexible, innovative, and to be good people, as you mentioned, teaching them the skills that they're going to need that are going to give them the success that they need in their life. our teachers are unfortunately spending way too much time on things like dealing with mental health issues, dealing with active shooter drills, etc. And it's taking its toll on them. It's taking its toll on our children, and it's taking its toll on our teachers. We need more resources going into our schools to address this issue. We need more teachers. We need more nurses. I know you're very well aware that we're having a crisis when it comes to school nurses as well. And we certainly could use more psychiatrists, as you mentioned, to help with those districts. At the same time, we need to make sure at the federal level that we're putting the resources there so that we can actually make this happen. On another note, I'd also like to see us start addressing root cause issues behind mental health. We have so many areas that we need to address. Many folks, I do understand mental health issues can come from many different forms, but a lot of those have to do with root cause issues, like a child not growing up in a stable home, moving from home to home, not having food on their table, moving from school to school, obviously different other issues within those family relationships. These are the things that I'm trying to address out here through better pay for workers, through equal pay for women, through making sure that there's health access in all of our communities on the rural health care bills that I've been writing so we can continue to have providers to deal with these issues. I'm working on rural broadband. One of the reasons it's so important is so we can help address mental health issues with folks in their homes as a follow-up with doctors. So there's so much that we need to do from a resource perspective for our schools and our teachers to address it, but also in looking at the policy that we put forth for our country to start eliminating some of those traumatic things that happen in people's lives that lead to mental health illness. And I'm going to continue to dedicate myself to making sure that we address that issue. Thank you for your advocacy, and I very much appreciate it.
Just a reminder, if you'd like to ask a consummate question, press star 3. We aren't sure yet when they're going to call those, so we're going to take at least one more question. I have Ed Friedman from Redfield who has a question about bills in the Senate. Ed, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Will you go ahead and ask your question?
Yes, I'd like to know what we can do as citizens to get some of this legislation to move through the Senate that the House has passed. The House, if I understand it correctly, has passed something like 200 bills, and over 100 of them are bipartisan, and yet we're getting no action in the Senate. And there's one in particular is the voting rights bill, which I think is very essential to having fair elections in the United States.
Ed, thank you for that. I couldn't agree with you more. Unfortunately, the House has passed hundreds of bills, and the Senate has taken up less than 1% of those. Good bills that could be enhancing people's life, just like you said, like the Voting Rights Act. I was struck this week when Mitch McConnell said the Senate will not take up USMCA until next year, after we've worked diligently to move this agenda forward and to make it a very, very good bill for this country, for agriculture, for manufacturing, for labor, for everyday people because of the intellectual property, the protections that deal with healthcare and prescriptions. So we've got a bill that we have that is basically for the last 6 months have been saying the Democrats have been holding this up. We haven't. We've been working to make it a really good bill. And I'll tell you what, when the president, when the head of the unions, and when agriculture are all saying this is a really good bill, it is a really good bill. And for Mitch McConnell and the senators to say we're not taking it up this year is a really good example to show that they're not working for the people, because if they would be passing this essential bill immediately. So I'm going to do everything I can to move this agenda forward. I would encourage that you reach out to our senators and ask them to move these bills that you would like to see done moved. Our senators are two of the most powerful on the Senate side, the President pro tem and the only female in leadership on the Republican side. They have power. I would call them. I would ask them to please move the agendas forward that are going to help people in this country, like H.R. 3 prescription bill, like the Voting Rights Act, and certainly USMCA.
Consider holding the impeachment bill in the House too, please.
Thank you.
Next we have Catherine from Calco Bluff, and Catherine has a question about a drug she takes, which is really expensive. Catherine, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Cindy, my concern is like in the investigation of what's going on with the changes that should be made in the medical care that we're getting in this country has to do with the amount of time that the prescription companies who make the drugs are allowed to keep that drug on patent. And I'll tell you what happened. When I was diagnosed with my leukemia, in 2011, they wanted to charge me $10,000 a month. I'm another teacher. I don't even make $10,000 a month, let alone to spend that on one drug. Finally, we worked and we worked and we worked and we got it down. And then when I retired on August 31st of 2018, and we were going into Medicare and that sort of thing, they started all over again telling me I was going to have to pay $10,000 a month. And finally, in working with different agencies, we've been getting it down to back to $200 a month. But still, that's just one drug that's costing me $2,400 a year beside all the other drugs I take. So my concern is that that drug does not go off patent until 2020. And I'm wondering if something could be done with the regulations that would investigate how the progress is being made within the FDA on those drugs, and then monitoring of what they're charging the patient for the drug.
Well, thank you. That's a great question. And as a matter of fact, it's one of the reasons that we had to take some time to work the USMCA agreement out.
Okay.
Exactly what you're saying. There was some good language in the USMCA basically to protect intellectual property, to ensure that the drugs that we produce here in this country that are paid for by your taxpayer dollars through research and development, that we can actually have access to those and force competition to lower prices, just like you're saying. USMCA had this piece written in that would continue to keep those drugs, that intellectual patents, in those folks' hands for a decade, and then be able to also extend that. So that's why we fought tooth and nail within the USMCA agreement to pull that out. Two things here. In H.R. 3 that we passed earlier this year, there were several provisions that addressed exactly what you're talking about. One of those provisions is to ensure that drug companies can't hold patents, because we realize that you have to have at least 2 generics on the market. You need 3 drugs on the market at any given point in time to force competition. So we addressed that within H.R. 3, which was our big prescription drug bill. We also addressed that issue, like I said, within USMCA. So we have 2 bills that are literally waiting for the Senate to move forward that actually address exactly what you said. I'm tired of us here in the United States, really being raked over the coals for the drugs that we've literally footed the bill to, essentially develop, and then have these big pharma companies hold on to that patent and extend their prices year after year at a cost that folks can't afford, and hold those patents so we can't bring generics to market. So we're addressing that. We've got the bills to make that happen. I'll go back to what I said before. Call your senators. Ask them to bring USMCA and H.R. 3 to the floor. These are actual pieces of policy that will address that issue. I couldn't agree with you more. It's how they're price gouging us, because they're allowed to do that, and we've got to put an end to this. And I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. I wish we could move this forward faster. So everything that anybody can do to, contact the Senate to get this bill moving would help this.
And so the moment that we've been afraid of, they finally have called votes. We will have to cut off our telephone hall a little early tonight. I just wanted to turn it over to the Congresswoman for some closing remarks, and make sure everybody knows that if you didn't get a chance to ask your question, please visit the Congresswoman's website at axne.house.gov, and feel free to submit your comments and your questions to the Congresswoman there.
I want to thank everybody for jumping on the call tonight. My apologies for having to leave a little bit early. I want to thank you for putting your trust in me as your representative, especially on a day that is as sobering as this one is today. I take my role very seriously. I have two things that I always keep in mind when I come to work. One is that I better the lives of the people in Iowa's 3rd District, I believe to be the best people in the world. And the second is that I uphold our republic and protect our democracy. Those are two things that you can always count on me to be doing, and I will use my sharp elbows to make sure that every single person in our district has better opportunity than the day before, and that your children and your grandchildren can live better lives with more accessible and effective health care, certainly by lowering the cost of prescription drugs, reinvesting in trade schools and apprenticeship programs. We've passed all these bills, folks. We have hundreds of them out there that if you'd like to see those passed, again, I encourage you to call our senators, put some heat on them to say there's hundreds of bills there that can help my family. Find one that you're really fond of, whether it's child care, because I've written bills on that to make sure that we protect children in Iowa and that we do solid background checks, or whether it's making sure that we address the puppy mill issue in Iowa. So between children, making sure that we protect our companion animals, bringing better jobs to Iowa, making sure that the tax rates are things that hardworking Iowans can afford. I'm going to be here for you every step of the way. Thank you for participating in this call. Please come out to one of my Connect with Your Congresswomen in 2020, or the two I've got left this year when I get back. I'd love to see you, and I thank you for all that you do for our communities. I've been so impressed with what I've seen from Iowans and all they do to uphold our great state. And I thank you for everything. I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year.
Thanks, everyone. The Congresswoman is off to vote. If we didn't get to your question tonight, please visit her website, her Facebook page, or her Twitter to get a hold of the Congresswoman and learn where she's going to be later on this year and into the new year. I know she'd love to hear all your comments, and thanks for those who called in. Thanks, everyone, and have a good night.
The Access Live event has ended.
Thank you for participating in Congresswoman Cindy Axne's Access Live event. If you would like to leave a question or comment, please do so after the tone. Thanks again.
If you wish to leave a message, please press 1. Otherwise, you may simply hang up. Goodbye.